Yeah. So about the Anuswara and Makara difference, please understand this is very clearly. There should not be any confusion, at least, because we are studying the Shikshaa here. Now, Phalam Asti in this example, there is Anuswara notation on top of, what is on top of? It is, Anuswara is following what here in the Phalam? What is it following? Anuswara?
Akara.
Akara. Akara, correct. Very good. Akara. So there is a Ha, then there is a La, then there is A, then there is Anuswara. So Anuswara, as we have discussed before, always follows some vowel. So here it is following A. Then there is, after that, in the sentence, the next word is starting with A. Phalam Asti, for example, here. So in this case, when we are pronouncing them together, close enough, both the words, then this Anuswara cannot be sounded. It cannot be pronounced. So it changes to Makara, Phalam, because we need to close the Ortha, lips. Lips need to be closed. Then Phalam Asti, you can try it, right? When you say Phalam Asti, the A merges into Ma, then this becomes a compound letter. Swarayukta Akshara. Phalam Asti. So here there is a Makara, there is a Ma. It is not Anuswara. Now the other possibility we studied here is that when the next first letter of the next word is something different, is a consonant, is a Vyanjanam. In that, for example, Phalam Kim, Phalam Kim, for example only, Kim only. Okay? So Phalam Kim, this is another one. So after this Phala, actually the original word is Phalam, right? If you just say only the word Phalam, at the end there is a Makara, Ma, because you can't, the lips are going to close when you say Phalam, Phalam. But when there is a vowel following this, that we already saw, when vowel following this, then this will remain Ma, and then when we add Ma and A, it becomes compound letter. Then, but when there is some consonant follows it, like here, for example, Kim. In that case, there are two things happen, and three things actually. If you pause to great extent, great extent means like 1 second, let's say. 1 second is like 2 matras. 1 matra is studied about half a second. Even half a second if you stop. But then you are going to close the lips to say Phalam Kim. See, when I say Phalam Kim, there is a pause, right? Phalam Kim. When there is a pause between the two, Ma is still heard. So that is still Makara. We are not changing the sound. But if you bring them closer than one matra, like half matra. Half matra. Half matra is required for Sandhi. Sandhi means change in the pronunciation. So what happens then? This Ma sound changes. The sound changes. So that is, you have to again relate it back to the question. Are the Makara and Anuswara same? They are not. Because the sound changes, sound differs. Sound is different.
Yes.
So how is it different? So in this case, when it comes close enough, then how are you going to say this? You are not going to say Phalam Kim. You are going to say Phalam Kim. You see that? Phalam Kim. Phalam Kim. So there, because the sound is different, then it is Anuswara sound coming only through the nose, Phalam Kim. So then the dot, the notation changes, because notation is just the script of the sound. So Ma changes to Anuswara there. Now also we saw another possibility here, right, last time. So one sound it can change is to Anuswara sound. Another sound it can change is the ma can change. Ma can change to Anuswara in one case. Another case it can change to the Anunasika of the following consonant. Okay? The following consonant is ka here. So it's Anunasika. The last line of that one is, what is the last line of that? Here we see na, right?
Yeah.
We see here na. So it can change to na. So in that case, what happens? It becomes phalam kim. You see that it's like saying enjoy. Phalam kim. Phalam kim. Phalam kim. So both are valid, but both are not same sounds. They are different sounds. Phalam kim. Here we are in this first case we are not going to say nga. Phalam kim. In the second case, nga is heard here. Phalam kim. Yeah, like enjoy or kankata. Phalam kim. So this phalam kim with the ma sound in between. Phalam, if there is a gap, no sandhi. And if there is a sandhi, this is one option. This is second option. This is also another sandhi. Two different sandhis can happen. If there is no sandhi, if there is a gap, then only ma remains. But all three are different sounds notated by different symbols here. This is ma symbol in Devanagari and dot Anuswara symbol, and nga will be nakara. All three are different.
One more small doubt.
Yeah.
Vibhrata is open. What is Samvardha, sir?
Samvrta is closer. Samvrta is only a sound is Samvrta.
Oh, that is the opposite word.
Yeah, opposite. Like Vibhrata is like when you say a or any other vowel, u, they are much open. And when we compare to a, for example, when I say phala, in that after that the which is coming out is very different. The closeness in the mouth is different than when you say a or u or e. In fact, related to that, the Shikshaa Granthas, they even mention the relative openness between the swaras themselves. Though all the swaras except the are categorized as vivrata. Right? What is the vivrata? Is it internal effort or external effort? Vivrata, there are two types of prayatna, right? Efforts. Internal or abhyantara prayatna, one is bahya prayatna. So vivrata, samvrata, are they bahya prayatna or abhyantara prayatna? Abhyantara prayatna or bahya? Yeah. Internal. Why internal? Because they occur inside the mouth, inside the oral cavity. Outside the oral means not in the air. Outside the oral cavity.
Bahya is outside.
Yeah, bahya. Where does it happen?
Throat.
Yeah, in the throat area, in the vocal box, voice box area. In that area. So now, vivrata and samvrata, they are abhyantara or internal efforts. So there's the relative, though all except the only is samvrata, the internal effort, and all other vowels are vivratas, openness. But within that, also the Shikshaa Granthas, they differentiate the level of openness, degree of openness, as u, 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 u. These are less open. I mean, they are open, and a, o, they are more open than this u, u, Okay. These ones.
Yeah.
E, O are more open. Then I, O are even more open. The next level of openness within Vivrata itself, next degree. And then A, they say A is the most open one. It starts with A is the Savrata, close, very close. And obviously, when we say there some degree of openness in the lips is needed, but they are very close. The next comes this E, U. So these ones are more open than Savrata. Then more than that is A, O. And more than those two are I, O. And the most open, most vivrata is A. That is the level of degree of openness is mentioned. Okay.
Yeah. My doubts are over.
Dhanyavad. Okay, next one. A lot of things to cover. Let's see. We can finish it. Otherwise, few things may remain for the next week. Okay, so nasal. So this one I just got from somewhere. Just to, I think this is. You can see the diagrams better here. Yeah. If all of you can go on mute, unless you have any doubt or questions. Mute, please. This we already seen, just for your reference. See here, this is the area where the Bahya Prayatna happens, and this area where the internal Prayatna or Abhyantar Prayatna happens. And you see the different sthanam positions clearly here. Yeah, the Hanumula, what sometimes is called Kantha, Hanumula, backside of the jaw, upper jaw, and then we have the palate, where for the Hanumula you have Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga, that series, and here you have Cha, Cha, Ja, Jhaya, here you have Ta, Tha, Da, Dhana, the retroflex, and teeth we have Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na, and Pa, Pa, Ba, Ba, Ma, the lips. And different parts of the tongue touching these different parts. Back of the tongue touches here for Kakaganga. For Chachajajaniya, the top of the tongue touches here, palate. And the Tatadadhana, the underside, curled backside, touches the retroflex or the ridge here. And the tongue tip touches the back of the teeth for the Tatadadhana. And lips, the close touch each other for Papa Bhamama. Okay. Simple enough with the nasal cavity. Yeah. So note that here the nasal cavity is important. This one can be controlled, right? We control it inside because this moves up and down. So when we are pronouncing non-nasals, ananasika letters like Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, and the ananunasika swaras or niranunasika swaras, this part is closed because the air doesn't flow through the nasal cavity. Whereas when you are pronouncing nasal letter sounds like nga, 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 like the ones which are in the Vyanjanas, nga, ngayana, ma. So for them the air flows to both, right? Anunasika, nasal cavity as well as oral cavity. So both. They are anunasika. Whereas for anuswara, it flows only through nose. Okay. So here we were studying anuswara, and after that there is one more sound which is neither vowel nor a vyanjana. It's neither a swara nor a vyanjana, which is like anuswara. Anuswara is also not a swara, it is also not a vyanjanam. It is a separate category. And similarly, we have a Visarga. Visarga is another sound which can follow only a swara. It can never follow a pure Vyanjanam. It can follow only a swara. And swara can be attached to a Vyanjanam to pronounce, and then the Visarga can follow, just like the Anuswara. Visarga, what are the examples here? For the Visarga, Visargas and Anuswara is very common, right, in the everyday use. What is the Visarga example? For example, Rama. I'm writing here Rama.
Namaha.
Namaha. So here, ignore my writing here. Rama, Nama. How this should be pronounced? So this is also important because
Harihi. Harihi.
Hari. Hari, Haraha, anything. So this sound, Visarga sound, is in Devanagari. Its symbol is 2 dots after the vowel it follows. Now it is important to note here that Visarga, which is also called Visarjaniya, Visarjaniya, the name itself suggests it is to be released. Visarjana. Some of you might know Visarjana means releasing. Visarjaniya, release of what? Release of breath. So the sound is defined as the release of breath, and it's very light breath has to be released. Like the comparison is made like it should be the release of breath of a baby snake. Bala Sarpa. Bala Sarpa is baby snake. Just like how a baby snake releases the breath, exhales. So that's how lightly that breath should be there. So there is a difference between her that we studied as part of the consonant. Right? There is a consonant. What is the position of her? Where is her here? Here. Her. Where is her? Here. What is the position of her?
Throat with a strong breath.
Throat is the position. So, and the internal effort, Abhyantar Prayatna is, again we are saying, what is the Abhyantar Prayatna? Ishat Vivruta. Right? Ishat Vivruta means slightly open. Like Shashasa. These are Ishat Vivruta. These are Ishat Sprushta. Right? These are all Sprushta. This 25 are Sprushta, contact. And these are Ishat Sprushta. And these are Ishat Vivruta. And then the next Vivruta is all the vowels. But here, this line is Ishat Vivruta. And this is Ishat Vivruta. And position is Kantha. And what is the Bahya Prayatna? Ishat Vivruta is Abhyanta Prayatna. Bahya Prayatna is, one is Mahaprana, strong breath, that Mahodaya said. Strong breath, Mahaprana, and what are the other categories? Is it Vivara Shwasa Ghosha or Nada? Is Nada heard here? Samvara Nada Ghosha. When we say her, do we hear a Nada?
No, Samvara.
So one way to understand this Nada, if you want to experiment, some of you are doing, I think, Katamohdaya and others, like to understand and try to how they sound, that you can put your fingers around the neck, the voice box, and then try to see whether the vibrations come out. That's one way. Or you can also close your ears with your fingers and say that letter. For example, when you say ka, in this case, ka, kha, the vibrations are not there, almost like they are muted. But when you say ga, gha, you can hear that vibratory sound or vibrations, waves. Similarly, the ha also, when you say, there is a vibration. So ha, unlike this sha, sha, sa, this is the difference between, though they are put in the same line based on their internal effort, their external efforts are different. For sha, sha, sa, these are muted. There is no vibration. But ha, there is vibration. Yeah? So ha is Ishat Vivrata as far as the Abhyantara Prayatna is concerned. But it is Mahaprana. Yes, all these are Mahapranas. But the difference, another difference between these three and this one is, this is Nada or voiced. In English it's called voiced, or vibrations are heard, or sound is heard, and these are not sound, no sound. So ha is sound is heard. So compare that with Visarga. Visarga, there is no sound, it is muted. Visarga is just a breath. This you have to differentiate. Again, if there is a question, are the Visarga and ha, are they same? Just like whether Makara and Anuswara are the same, they are not. Visarga and ha are the same, they are not. Ha has a sound or vibration, nada in it, whereas Visarga has no nada, no sound in it. Visarga is a very light, just a release of breath. Yeah? So when we say Rama, you say Rama, Rama. It should not be sounded like Ramaha, Harihi. So Harihi is different. When we say Harihi, we are actually pronouncing it like this, Harihi. I don't know whether it's, can you see it? Yeah, Harihi. So this is different than Visarga. Visarga is just Hari, 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 Rama, Krishna, Hari, or Hara. So just the release of breath. And this release of breath, another important thing about Visarga is it is not an independent sound. Yeah? It rides, it follows the sound of the preceding vowel. So in that sense, actually its position, some of the Shikshaa Granthas, they are defined. Actually they say the position of the Visarga is same as the position of the preceding vowel. This is important. Okay? So what does that mean? So we need mute please. That hissing
Does it mean that when
sound is coming. Yeah.
This is Usha.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So when we say a long A, will the Visarga also sound long?
No, not long. We are not talking about matra. We are saying the position. Yeah?
Oh.
Position. For example, suppose say there is a Hare and there is a Visarga after this. We want to say Visarga. So in that
it
case,
will be Hare.
Hare.
It will be Hare.
Hare.
If it is Hari, it will be Hari. Hari.
Hari. So that's why it's maybe in this mic it is difficult to hear Hari. Yeah? Okay. So when this is like it is following A here, so it becomes Hare, He, Hare. I am pronouncing it separately, but it should be the light breath, Hare, Hare.
Hare, okay.
Yeah. So what happens is the mistakes again here that sometimes not. This is not that common mistake, unlike this Anuswara. But sometimes you hear people pronounce it like Hare, He, Hare, He, which is like what we saw Harihi. Yeah, this is just to emphasize probably that Visarga sound, because if it is sounded very lightly, it may not be heard. So Hare, Hare. So that Hare, 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 Hare. But now the problem is sometimes people pronounce it as like Hareha. This is totally wrong. Hareha, Hareha, Hareha. For example, even like Guru. This is the Guru, and there is a Visarga. Guru, Guru. After O, the Visarga should come out. The breath should come out, following O itself. Guru, Guru. And if you want to just for the clarity, if I add her there, it should be like Guru Ho only. Guru Ho, like Guru, Guru. But from that Ho, remove that Nada. Remove the Nada. Guru.
Is it different when you're chanting?
No, everything, there's no difference. Same.
When you're chanting, also you have to chant that way then. Guru. When you're chanting also, you just have to chant Hare.
Yeah.
Guru.
It is like Ho sound. Guru is sounding like Ho, but remove that Nada, just keep it breath. Breath. Guru.
Guru. Okay.
Remove that Nada. Remove that voice in it. Voice means the technical term voice. The Nada Samvara Ghosha.
Oh.
Vibration should be removed. Guru. And then, but it should not be pronounced like Guru Ha. Many people pronounce it as Guru Ha. I heard that. Guru Ha, Hare Ha. So that is a wrong pronunciation. Okay. Visarga. So we saw, I think that those are the main, all the letters on the chart of letters, right? Where is the chart of letters? Here.
Sir, one doubt. How do we know that one word should follow the Visarga?
No, Visarga follows a vowel.
Visarga follows a vowel, okay. But many words doesn't have Visargas, but many words there are Visargas. But my question is, how do we distinguish this? How do we know which are the words where Visarga should be used or should not be used?
Maybe so. The quick answer to that is by looking at the word or by hearing the word. If the person, assuming that the person is pronouncing it properly, but maybe if there are any more questions, we can discuss it after the class on Visarga. On this.
So Sanjeevji, the word is like I'm looking at the Bhagavad Gita shloka. It goes second shloka in chapter 12. Te me yuktatama mataha. So somebody was telling me you cannot just say mataha. It is mataha. It's a rule. I said I've never heard it like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to tell them, but you know, since we are talking about Visarga and all, I just my question. But if it is insignificant, you can ignore it.
No. I mean, are you asking questions?
I think akar may be the dirgha akar, but the visarga is always like a breath, as Guruji is telling.
Yeah. So, but when you are chanting, like you said, Hari, Hari, or Haro, Hare. But when we are chanting Mata, it's a long A, right? It's the vowel that is, the Visarga that is following the vowel is a long, Dirgha A. Does that make any difference?
No, Visarga remains a breath. Visarga remains a breath. There is no her there. There is no her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mata.
Yeah.
Mata. Okay.
I mean, see, the thing is that these being different misconceptions that come in from somewhere. I don't know why. I mean, there is a reason why this Visarga is written there, right?
Hmm.
Visarga is written means it is supposed to be pronounced like that. And for some reason, some these things come in like, no, it should be different. If it is different, then write it like that. I mean, how do I know? If it is different, like, right, if I have to pronounce it as ha, write ha there.
Yeah.
Okay, Karta Mohoday, maybe if there are more questions, I think.
Yeah, one more. Sir, is there any rule that when we use a word of Pullinga, there should be a Visarga? I remember to have read somewhere. Is my believing is correct or not? I don't know. Wherever Pullinga words are used, Visarga should be there. I don't know whether it is a wrong understanding for me. I remember to have read somewhere.
No. The Visarga has nothing to do with Pullinga. No. Pullinga.
But Pullinga should be always Visarga, isn't it?
No. There's no relation between Visarga and Pullinga or Pullinga and Visarga.
Okay.
I'm not sure what.
Maybe it is just the observation. Majority of the Pullinga Shabda have Visarga.
Yeah, majority of the words what
But
we
that
are
is not the
studying
rule.
now. Yeah, what we are studying now, majority of them, what we see like Rama, Balaka, like this, like Guru, Hari. But there are words with Visarga. I mean, these are the Prathama Vibhakti words. We are only talking about Prathama Vibhakti, first declension. That doesn't mean that that word is a Pullinga. That is just a Vibhakti attachment. The Vibhakti means the suffix attached to the base word.
Right.
So,
Mahodaya, I have a question. You said Hari and Harihi are different. So how does it differ? Does the meaning differ? Hari and Harihi?
Yeah, if there is a word called, I don't know, there is a word called Harihi. Harihi, the meaning is different, sir. If there is a word, I don't know. What is the meaning? I don't know.
when we are chanting, we go like Harihi Om. Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So could it be that he that comes in the shlokas is certainly or?
No. When we say Hari, that Hari Om is also should be pronounced like Visarga only.
But people usually pronounce it Harihi Om.
Yeah. People pronounce Visarga as he. Again, I say that may be just for the clarity or just elongating it. But that is not the right.
It is wrong.
Yeah, it is technically wrong. It should not be pronounced as Harihi. Hari Om. Hari Om. If you actually, that's why the important, some people, there are few people who pronounce it correctly. I know some of them, this Harihi Om, because when we listen to this Pravachana, Upanyasas, there are very few people are there who pronounce it correctly. Harihi Om, Harihi Om. And most of them nowadays it has become a fashion. I have seen that just Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yeah, that's also wrong.
That is completely wrong. Even at least Harihi Om, they are at least trying to pronounce Visarga. But this Hari Om is just totally removing Visarga, which has no meaning.
So it is like this, Hari Om. It is like this, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari.
Normally we elongate Hari Om.
Yeah, that elongation is fine. Just try to remove that nada from there. It should be fine. When you remove that nada, ha has that nada. So close your ears. Try to pronounce Harihi Om. Don't, if there is vibration, mute it. Harihi Om. Harihi Om.
Sir, one thing I noticed, when we say just Harihi, that is means that is Ekavajan, and Hari is Dvivachan.
Yes.
But while listening, it sounds melodious, no? Hari Om.
While listening, what?
It sounds more melodious, he said.
Oh, melodious.
Melodious.
Okay. Then you write and say it. That is my advice. Write it and say it. Don't distort it and say it.
Now I have one more question.
One more.
Just
I can only say he sometimes means that we can just that he also means nishchayarthaka sometimes. So you can assume that though it is not there in the Hari Om. If you want to say melodiously, you can assume that Hari Eva Om. Hari Eva Om. Hari himself is the Omkar.
But there is a word just he, right? Not Eva.
That's Hari. He. That is what I am saying. He. Yeah. So I think we are digressing from here. From the Visarga.
Can I ask one more quick question about the difference between Akshara and Varna?
We will keep it aside. We have discussed it before.
I'm sorry.
I'll answer that question after the class. Yep.
Okay.
Mahodaya, all this will become clear when we do Visarga Sandhi.
Yeah, probably. Karta Mahodaya, what was the question? Hari, Dvivachanam.
When we just Hari, it seems to be Dvivajanam, and Hari is Ekavajanam.
No, in the Dvivachanam there is no Visarga.
Yeah. But it is little Dirgha.
It is complete Dirgha. Yeah.
2 matras.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so in the chart of letters, this is a chart of letters, but now, sorry, where is my pencil? These are the ones, these are the swaras, and these are the vyanjanas, and this is other separate 2 sounds we studied. So besides these, are there any other sounds which are used in the language? That we need to consider now. Now, if you look at this one, which is called Maheshwara Sutras. So here, this is Maheshwara Sutras were composed or presented by Panini for use in his grammar work, Ashtadhyayi and others. He put these letters in the Sanskrit language in certain series and certain groups. There are 14 sets here, 14 groups like this. So like as you see, each group is separated by a line here. Line, which a vertical line is a full what do you call the full point, end of a sentence in Sanskrit. So these are separate. This is one group, 2 group. There are 14 groups here. So 14 sets. So he arranged them into 14 sets. Why arranged? That is a different matter of discussion. But as you see here, what are the vowels you see? One thing you should note that in these 14 sets, each set at the end has a vyanjanam or a consonant here, which we should ignore while counting the letters. Other than that, other than the last letter of each group, we should ignore. They have their purpose in the grammar. When he writes the sutras and formulates different rules, they have their own utilities. But here, just for the counting purpose, letter counting, we can ignore and count them. Can somebody read the first or maybe somebody can read all of them right now. The entire.
May I?
Yes, yes, please.
Oi un ruluk eong I ouch hayavarat land niyamanganam jabai ghadadash jabagadash khafa cha tha cha tatav kapai shasar hal. Even I had difficulty.
Yeah. No, this is good. Great, thank you. So these are the 14 sets, and some in the origin, how it is originated, all that. There are stories and all that. But these are the 14 sutras. They are called Maheshwara sutras, related to Maheshwara, who is the name of Shiva, called Shiva. Maheshwara sutras, 14 of them. And what are the starting with the beginning? You can also first. What are the vowels here?
O, I, U, Ru, Lu, E, O, I, Au.
Okay. So how many are there?
Kshamyat.
1, 2, 3,
9.
9. Now, when we say A is missing here, so we need to assume A also in this. Every letter here,
all 18 roots, what you call, O, A, I, U, Akar, Akar, Okar, all those Ashtadasha
types.
Swarana, Swarasya Grahanam.
Yeah. So that means when he says, when there is A here in this group, in this sequence, we should assume the Dirgha, or the one which has the two matras. Rasa, Dirgha, Pluta, exactly. We also discussed about the Pluta. Pluta is which has the 3 matras. So all the different matras have to be assumed here. Not only the matras, we should also assume what? The Niranunachika and Anunachika also. Has just pronounced without the nasal sound in it, is a Niranunachika. And when we say that is the Anunachika, both have to be assumed here. But anyway, keep it simple, this is A, I, U, U, and what about Lu? Lu, this is the Raswa. And how many does it have? A Dimatra and Trimatra?
It has Pluta.
So there is no Dirgha Lu. This we have seen. Why it is not there? Because such a usage is not in the Sanskritam language. And ignore this. Then we have A, O, I, Au. Then there are Ha, Ya, Va, Ra. These are the starting from here, Ha, there are consonants are listed here. From here to here, in the first four, there are all the swaras, and from Ha to end Ha, there is one more Ha. Ha is 2 times here, just ignore one of them. There are again reasons for that. Again, you have to study grammar for that. For right now, take only one Ha. So starting from this Ha, come up to Sa, all the 33 Vyanjanas are there. 33 Vyanjanas are there. And they are arranged in a certain logical way, which is supporting or convenient for formulating the grammar rules or Sandhi rules and etc. Not only Sandhi, many other grammar rules. This is very fundamental sutras, sets forming the Sanskrit grammar. And now you note that here, one thing in that when we say Ha, Ya, Va, Ra, all this, there is also A kara added to each of them, because these Maheshwara sutras, they are not presenting pure consonants here. They are presenting Akshara. So, beginning of the Usha, beginning is asking, what is Akshara Varna? Here you can quickly say, Akshara is something which can be pronounced, expressed. There is there is no varna here. Okay? So here, varna means only Vyanjana here. Okay? Ha. But for the ease of pronunciation, is added to this. But should not be counted or ignored when we are using them in the Vyakarana Sutras, formulas, etc. When we say something like some sutra comes where there is these sets are used, then only Vyanjanam or Varna, that is a Varna, not Akshara. Varna should be considered. That is why this is called what? Akshara Samamnaya, the collection of Aksharas. Collection of expressible sounds. Akshara Samamnaya.
What does Samamnaya mean?
Samamnaya means collection.
Oh, okay.
So here, that is one thing. And other than that, there are the different variations of this total 13 Vyanjanas with Ekamatra, Dvimatra, without counting the Trimatra. And then there are 33 Vyanjanas. The Anuswara and Visarga is missing here. In this Samamnaya, what is missing? Anuswara and Visarga is missing here. So, not only these two, there are few other sounds which are missing on this list here, or in this collection of 14 sutras. So, these are those which are missing here. They are called Ayogavaha. Ayogavaha. Yoga means
used.
Yoga means connected or part of something. Ayogavaha. So, yoga means part of something. So, these Ayogavahas are not part of these 14 sets. So, they are outside of this Ayogavaha, but they are used in the language. Ayogavaha doesn't mean that they are not important. They are also important. They are widely used, very much used in the languages, but they are not part of this 14 sets, 14 sutras. So these, what are the first Ayogavahas we have seen? Anuswara and Visarga. These are the two Ayogavahas we saw already. Now the next Ayogavaha also we will see. Okay. The next Ayogavaha, one of them is called Jihvamuliya. I'll just write it like this. Jihvamuliya. So note that when we looked at the where is the ha sound before in the chart, right? So we said what is the position of ha? The sthanam of hakara. Nobody? What is the position of ha?
Ha is
Kantha.
throat.
Kantha.
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 Kantha. But also, if any of you remember, it has an alternate position. Right? Ha, hakara is an alternate position in certain conditions. For example, this one.
Uras.
Uras. Just so that example here is jihva, because in the conjunct cases, when the ha comes first, jihva, it is uras, just there. Jihvamuliya. So just to keep that in mind. Hakarasya ucharana sthanam kim. What is the ucharana pronunciation position of hakara? It has two positions depending on how it is used in the letter. If it is conjunct, when it is coming first here, so it is uras, just. If it is not conjunct, It's just like Hari or Hara, anything, Ahara.
The other word could be dukkha, right? Dukkha.
There is no Ha there. One second.
Dukkha.
No, one second. So this Hakara, when it is not in a conjunct, it is its position is just the Kantha. So now Jufamuliya is the name of the sound. Jufamuliya is the name of the sound. Name of the sound for what? It is the sound of, for example, the when you are saying dukkha.
Visarga.
Yeah. Dukkha. If I write it like here, du, visarga and kha is there. In this, so dukkha is one example. We'll see a simpler example. But first, like so there are two words like here. Rama karoti. Again, see visarga is there. Rama karoti. Rama karoti. Once again, if there is a pause in between, when there is pause in between, then visarga is like anuswara also, when we saw, right? When there is a pause between two words, then anuswara is not heard. It is just the makara is heard, like Ramam, Namami, etc. like that. But if there is a close enough, the sound changes. Here also, if there is a gap, then visarga is visarga, like Rama karoti. Then, but if there is close enough, close means very close, less than half a second, then the sound changes. Then what happens if you try to pronounce this Rama karoti? In order to pronounce this ka quickly, this visarga sound becomes less, for a lesser duration. Rama karoti, Rama karoti. Instead of say Rama, instead of full release of that visarga, it is cut short and kakara follows it. Rama karoti. So that change in the sound of visarga, half visarga, is called Jufamuliya. Rama karoti. And if the following following consonant, following vyanjanam is either ka or kha, this change will happen. If there is some other vyanjanam, then there are different changes. This visarga will change to something else. It will not change to half sound of visarga like this, Rama karoti. So similarly with dukkha also same thing. So we have du and visarga here, and there is kha, which is either ka or kha, right? We saw only when there is ka or kha, this type of sound is heard. If there is a visarga before that, and that visarga is pronounced very closely to the next ka or kha. So when we say dukkha, there also we are not going to pause in between like du and kha, because obviously it is a single word. It is coming in between a word. So that visarga between those two, visarga is following u here. After that there is a kha immediately, and that visarga sound is like half pronounced. Dukkha, dukkha. And Rama karoti. So note that when we try with this half sound, half visarga, which is followed by either ka or kha, so there its position is throat only, where that ka and kha are pronounced. There itself the visarga, the half visarga is also resides there, right? Because immediately there is ka and kha after that. Rama karoti, dukkha. So this,
Sir, Brahmapatam is another example of it?
no.
Brahmapatam.
There is no ka kha there, right? There is ka kha. So this Juffamuliya sound is only, it is the half Visarga sound only when K or Kh follows the Visarga. Okay? Only these two Vyanjanams, K or Kh.
I see. Okay.
So, for example, another one, there is a Subhashitam. Kaka, kaka, pika, pika. What is the Subhashitam? Kaka Krishna, pika Krishna. Koveda pika kaka yoho. Vasanta samaye prapte. Kaka, kaka, pika, pika. So the first line in that, Kaka Krishna. So Kaka Krishna. Kaka Krishna. So note that I am writing it as a with horizontal line. So this is, don't think that this is a mistake because Kaka is a separate word, Krishna is a separate word. How can we join them? So this is what the Sanskritam or the Devanagari combination is, that there is no need, because there is no need to break. We are indicating that there is a sandhi here. When there is a sandhi, there is no pause in between. So there is no pause. So we are just putting a vertical line, is fine. And even if you write separately, that is also fine. Okay? This is just the writing style. Now here we don't know exactly whether there is a sandhi or whether the reader or the writer wants to pronounce it as a Visarga or wants to pronounce it as a Vihvamuliya. So when you pronounce it, then only you will come to know. Okay? So Kaka Krishna. If you pronounce it together, then it becomes Kaka Krishna. Kaka Krishna. So this is Vihvamuliya. Similarly, we have the next word in that Subhashitam, Pika Krishna. Pika. Pika means kaku, the bird kaku. Pika Krishna. Kaka is crow. Right? Krishna is black. Kaka Krishna, Pika Krishna. Krishna. So the half Visarga happening between this after this Visarga, Ka is there. Ka Vyanjanam is there. So the Visarga changes to that half Visarga. Kaka Krishna, Pika Krishna. So like that, that half Visarga is Juffamuliya. Now, the Juffamuliya is one of the Ayogavahas. The next Ayogavaha is called Upadhmaniya. 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 This is another half Visarga sound only, but only when the following consonant is either P or P. The Juffamuliya was half Visarga sound when it was followed by either K or Kh. Kakara or Khakara. Now, the half Visarga sound will be different. This will be Oshtha, whereas this half Juffamuliya sound was Kantha, because the following consonants are Ka and Kha. Because Ka, Kha are throat, like they have the position in throat. The Juffamuliya also takes the position in throat. But in this case, when there is a Pakara or Phakara, the sound of Pa or Pa following the Visarga, and they are pronounced close together, then there is a different kind of sound which is called Upadhmaniya. It's also half Visarga, but pronounced at the lips, Oshtha, because that breath hits that Oshtha there, because the next consonant is Pa or Pa. Udaharanam, examples. Here there is a Visarga, and after that there is a Pa, Patu, Rama, Rama, Patu. But now when we recite them close together, then it becomes Rama, Patu, Rama. That hits the Rama, Patu. Rama, Patu.
Or Rama Padam.
Rama, Padam, whatever. The next word is Porpa, starting with Porpa. Rama, Phalam, even if there is a Phalam afterwards. Suppose there is a Phalam. Rama, Patu, Tatah Phalam. There are some, in some shlokas, Tatah Phalam, right? Tatah Phalam, Tatah Phalam, Tatah Phalam. Tatah Phalam. So this is the Visarga, half Visarga sound when followed by Papa, which is called Upadhaniya. So this is sometimes, though not widely found in writing, sometimes this Jifamulya and Upadhaniya, they are said to be notated or have the symbols like this in writing, script. So when we say Rama, Rama Karoti, you can write it like this, for example. Though you don't find this, I have not seen this, I don't see this, but just the Visarga, that is good enough. But it is said that these two symbols, this upper, this curved like this, up and curved down together, Jifamulya and Upadhaniya symbols. So depending on what comes next, so it could be Jifamulya or it could be Porpa is there, then it would be Upadhaniya. Ayogavaha. So 4 Ayogavahas. Seen, one is Anuswara, Visarga, and Jifamulya, Upadhaniya. So these are those first 13 vowels and 33 consonants and these 4 Ayogavahas. These are the most widely used, what we found in the Sanskrit language. There are few more Ayogavahas.
One thing, sir. One thing only.
Yeah.
Our Upadhamiya, that whatever you have written, it should be reversed. That half round, it should be reversed.
Which one?
For Upadhamiya, the
Like this?
because we are closing the lips. Is it like?
I don't know. No, this is just a symbol. No, I don't know whether this symbol of lips, maybe, probably. Now the symbol is like this. The symbol.
But this symbol is used in Sanskrit?
Sanskrit means Devanagari.
It's a Devanagari.
Devanagari script, but actually in printing, very, very few cases I have seen this. Generally we see Visarga only, but while pronouncing it changes to either Upadhaniya or Jifamulya. Okay, so now the few things about this Maheshwara Sutras. With the Maheshwara Sutras, in the Ashtadhyayi, in Ashtadhyayi Grantha or book, Panini has provided some quick sutras, and you can find them in the other commentaries of Ashtadhyayi also, like what are they? Like Siddhanta Kaumudi, etc. So here, Akuha Visarjaniyanam Kantha. So he says that here is defining the positions. This is defining the positions of different varna, different letters. A, Ku, Ha, Visarjaniya. So there are 4 things here. A, Ku, Ha, Visarjaniya. For these letters, Kantha is the position. So here, with these are like the shlokas or short verses, or these are the sutras actually. So with this, it may be easier for you to remember if you can't actually remember these different tables. These are like a short verses. Akuha Visarjaniyanam Kantha. A, Ku, Ha, Visarjaniya. Visarjaniya is Visarga. For these 4 things, Kantha is the position. Akara. Akara includes also, remember, all the variations of that is Hasva, Dirgha, Pluta, etc. Anunasika, Nasika. Ka, Ku, and Ha, Visarjaniya, Visarga, and Ha, I mean Hakara, Ha sound, and Ku. For these, Kantha is the position, Sana. So Ku, what is Ku here? Now you see here in these different sutras, you see Ku, Chu, Tu, Tu, Pu. These are the abbreviations for that class of consonants. So in the first line here, so each line is a class, right? Is a varga. This first line is called kavarga, right? Of this 25 5 by 5 matrix, there are 5 lines and 5 columns. Each line, horizontal line, is a varga or a class. So this is a ka varga, this is cha varga, this is ta varga, this is ta varga, this is pa varga. So those sutras, they refer to this varga as an abbreviation. So this entire thing is referred to as Ku, just the Ku. Ku means it includes all ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, all 5 varnas. And similarly, Chu means all these 5, cha in this line. And Tu means all these lines. And Tu means all these in this entire line. Pu means the last line, the Oshthavarna. So that we have to understand while referring to these sutras here. Akuha Visarjaniyanam Kantha, that means the Akara, the A sound, and Ku. Ku means all those 5 letters, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga, and Ha, and Visarga. For this, Kantha is the Sthanam. Ichushanam Talu. It should be only Talu, not Talu. Ichushanam Talu. So, yeah, also have the transliteration. Okay. Ichushanam Talu. This means what? Ikara, E sound, and the Cha varga, Cha class, Cha, Cha, Ja, Cha, Ya, and Yakara, Ya, and Sha, the Sha, like Shankara Sha or Shiva Sha. So for these letters, Talu is Talu, palate is the Sthanam. And Rutu Rashanam, the Ru, the vowel, and the Ta, Ta, Da, Dhana, that line in the consonants, and the Refa, and the Sha, Murdhanya Sha, and the Na. No, this Anunasika. No, not this is not Anunasika. Sha, that comes in the ta only. The Sha, Ra, this Ru, the Tata Dadhana, and the Refa, and the Sha. For these, Murdha. Murdha means that retroflex, the cerebral. That is the Sthana, ridge. And then uchilita sthanam dantaha, this vowel, and tu, the ta line, tata dadhana, and la consonant, and sa. For these danta or the sthanam is the danta. Or the teeth. And the upodhaniyanam oshthav. U ukara, u vowel, and pu, papa babama, and upadhaniya, that we just now saw. For these, what is the sthanam? Oshtha, the lips. And then yamagananam nasika, that the last column of each. Yamagananam, the last column of each 5 by 5 matrix here, Yamaganana. For them, the sthanam is nasika cha, the nose. Cha, cha means and. Here he is adding and nose. And with what? And with the respective other positions which are already defined here. For example, ku means ka ka ga kha nga, and then nga was also there. Right? So nga already had the kantha as this position. Now here is saying nga also has nasika, cha, because there is a cha here. Nasika means nose. So it has kantha, throat, and nasika, this nga. And what about ya? Ya was already there in chu here. Cha, cha, ja, cha, ya. So cha, cha, ja, cha, they have the talu as the sthana. But ya also has nasika, nose. So this is how we have to understand. Na has this sthana and nasika. Ya has talu and nasika. Na has the murdha and nasika. Then the na has danta and nasika. And ma has oshtha and nasika. And then the next one. Edaitoho kantatalu means A and I. These are kantatalu, throat and talu, palate. And then O and O, they have kantha and oshtha, the throat and the lip. And Va is dantoshtha. Vakara is dantoshtha. Va is a special, like danta and oshtha is the sthanam. Teeth and oshtha. And some they say, I mean, this is generic, these are the generic, I mean, these should not be taken like exact. This is because Ashtadhyayi is proceeding to define the focus on the grammar, not on the shiksha. So these initially, at a very high level, these are presented and they go on. There is no detailed discussion about the ucharanam there. And then they go on the grammar. So these are to be taken as the guidelines. Okay? Whereas for the exact more discussions, we have to come back to Shiksha Granthas. In Vakarasya Dantoshtam, and some of them they say Shrukini, what we saw before, the sides of the lips. And Jufamuliyasya Jufamulam. The Jufamulam, that half Visarga sound that we just now discussed, half Visarga sound coming before Ka or Kha. So that for that the sthanam position is Jufamula. It's Jufamula only. That's why it's called Jufamuliya. The back of the tongue. And the Nasika Anuswarasya. So this C keeps separate. Nasika Anuswarasya. Anuswara sound has only Nasika. Remember, note that. That's why it's not included in that cha there. So Yamagananam Nasika cha means they also have and nose here. And means with these different things. Different other positions. But when it comes to Anuswara, that is kept on a separate line, saying that Nasika Anuswarasya. Anuswara has only Nasika, nose, as its position. Yeah. So that I would like to cover one more important aspect here. There are so we saw the matra bheda, right? In the vowels, matra differences. Matra means the time duration. Based on that, the swara uchcharana changes. O becomes a, and pluta a, then e becomes e, and so on. So matra bheda. And also niranunasika, anunasika. They can also be pronounced with as a nasal sounds, all the vowels, and so on. And even when they are pluta, also they can be pronounced with the nasal, as a nasal sounds, with the three matras, e, and so on. Now, we saw the abhyantara prayatna, internal effort, for these vowels here, right? Vowels. Obviously, they are for Vyanjanas also. Vyanjanas have the Sprushta, Ishat Sprushta, and Ishat Vivruta as the internal abhyantara prayatna. But for the swaras, we have Vivruta and Samvruta as the abhyantara prayatna. And what is the Bhahya prayatna for Vyanjanas? Bhahya prayatna for Vyanjanas we saw Alpa prana and Mahaprana, and also Vivara, Shwasa, Ghosha, Nada, Samvara, Nada, Ghosha. So those Samvara, Nada, Ghosha and Vivara, Nada, Ghosha, voiced and unvoiced, Alpa prana, Mahaprana, so they are applicable only to Vyanjanas, not to Swaras. So what about the Bhahya prayatna of Swaras? So the Bhahya prayatna of Swaras are there, but in a different way, they are presented. They are presented as tones actually. So this is a very interesting subject. These tones are not used nowadays in the classical Sanskrit. The classical means nowadays, like the poems or dramas or conversation. These tonal variations are lost actually. But in Vedic chanting, Vedic pronunciation, most part have this, many parts have this tones associated with them, and they need to be followed while chanting those parts of the Vedas. Now the tones, we don't know how they originated. The tones are also called swara, swara bheda. Swara, don't confuse this with the vowel. Vowels are swara. But the types of these tonal variations are called swara bheda. The types in the tonal tones, tonal variations, or sometimes they are also called accents. Now, probably in very ancient times, we don't know whether the entire the conversation had the tones, not clear. And these tones currently what we have, the swara bheda, these in the Vedic chants also, they are also nobody is sure whether those particular what we are currently using them, are we using them correctly in the sense what they were there in the ancient times. So that there was a break in between. So that the exact knowledge is lost. However, the tones matter actually, even in our day-to-day usage, right? What do we do in day-to-day usage? Don't we use different tones or accents, or like all the time when we are speaking, to communicate different moods, right? Like when I say, suppose, I did it. Suppose I change the tone and say, I did it. I did it. And I can say, I did it. So they also, they convey different meanings, right? Different hues. The sentence is the same, words are the same, sounds are the same, but the tone is different. Right? I did it. I did it. I did it. You see that difference in the tones, or you can call it accent, but the meaning or the hue or the color of that, what I'm trying to convey or what I have in mind, changes. Sometimes it may indicate the anger, sometimes the sadness, like that. So these might be originating the Swarabheda, the Bhaya Prayatnas for these vowels, may be originating from there. I don't know. But right now, there are three types of this Swarabheda. The first one is called Udatta. Second is Anudatta. And third is Swarita. Yeah. I don't no time to write in Devanagari, but I think you can understand. Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. So what do they mean? These are three Swarabhedas which are identified and recognized in Shiksha Granthas also, and fortunately these are defined in the Shiksha Grantha. That's why we know now. We can guess now approximately how they were pronounced before. Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. Three variations are identified. Now, Udatta is defined as a Udattam. Udatta, the name itself, they say, everything in Sanskrit is, the word itself conveys the meaning, right? So here Udatta means raised tone. Udatta, Anudatta. When we add Anudatta means the opposite of Udatta, the low tone or unraised tone, not raised. Udatta raised, Anudatta not raised tone, and Swarita. Swarita Samahara is what comes in the Vyakarana Granthas, but more discussions are there in the Shiksha Granthas there. Swarita is combination of Udatta and Anudatta. So what is this combination of Udatta and Anudatta? There is again the confusion may happen here. Combination means middle. So Anudatta, Udatta. First of all, let's say Udatta and Anudatta. How do we pronounce it actually? Udatta and Anudatta. So raised and lowered. So raised and lowered means, it doesn't mean screaming or volume up. It is the same swara. By the way, these are applicable to only vowels. These are considered Bhaya Prayatna, or external effort of the vowels. When we say external effort, remember, where does it occur? In the throat there, throat area. So this Udatta, Anudatta, raising and lowering happening there. So we are raising the accent or the tone there. So when I say I did it, I did it. So the volume is same, but the tone is different. So similarly, when we say Anudatta, so we are lowering the tone, and Udatta, so here the tone is different, and because of that, the character of the nature of the swara vowel also changes. And this Anudatta, Udatta, Swaritas, these are applicable only to vowels, not to consonants. And if a vowel is attached to a consonant, obviously that also can have Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. The vowel doesn't need to be independently pronounced for Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. So if there is for example, a k sound, k with a sound, that also can be pronounced by this variations in the tones, like k, 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 k. And these have led in future to different swaras in the music, in the Indian classical music, like Sapta Swaras and all that. So these might have evolved further. And there is some Shiksha Granthas mentioned and identify these three variations with different saptaswaras, seven notes in one register in the classical music. Now, Udatta and Udatta and Swarita. Swarita is a combination of the two. Now, Shiksha Grantha defines the Swarita as a combination, but how the combination is done? Not middle pitch. Udatta is raised, Anudatta is lowered, Swarita is middle. That's not how they define. Udatta raised, Anudatta lowered, Swarita is falling. Falling, right? If you want to make it a digital notation, digital is like this, right? So it starts with Udatta and falls to Anudatta. Digital means steps from low, high to low. So it starts with Udatta, raised tone to low tone. But because the human voice is not steps, right? It's a analog. So it's going to be like this curve. It's a falling tone. So this is within the same, while pronouncing the same vowel, in the same time duration, this transition should happen. So when I'm saying so even is one matra, two matra, three matra. Say Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita is another kind of variation that can be added to different swaras. So each swara we already seen can have one matra, two matra, three matra, and each of them can have Niranunasika and Anunasika, two different variations, non-nasal and nasal again. And again on top of them, each of them, one matra nasal, one matra non-nasal, two matra nasal, two matra non-nasal, three matra nasal, three matra non-nasal. Each of them can have each of these variations. Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. Means raised tone, lower, non-raised tone, and Swarita tone. Swarita means falling. Swarita means what? It starts with Udatta and falls to Anudatta. So if there is a one matra, Niranunasika, for example, then within that one matra only, half matra is for Udatta and the rest half matra is for Anudatta. Similarly, if there is a with two matras, half matra is for Udatta and rest one and half is for Anudatta. So first half is for Udatta, rest of it, whatever the rest, if it is a two matra, three matra, depending on what matra we are pronouncing. First half matra is for Udatta, rest of it is for Anudatta, making it a Swarita. Yeah. So is anybody there still? Okay. I would like to.
Mahodaya, there are symbols for these three.
Yeah, I'm going to play one sample here.
Okay.
So you can also go. I'll play one sample here. And playing in one thing before that, I forgot this. How are they not writing? Writing, how are they indicated in writing in the Devanagari script? For example, let's see. So this is Niranunasika, one matra, akara. So if it is Anudatta, then we add a horizontal line below it, under it. And if it is Udatta, we don't indicate with anything. There is no additional special symbol. Just writing is enough. That means it is Udatta. And if it is Swarita, then we add a vertical line above it. Vertical line above it, above that letter. If it is a Anunasika, then obviously there will be a Chandrabindu, or that Anunasika symbol will be there on top here, and then there will be a vertical line. And if it is a Pluta, obviously there will be this three symbol will be there, three matra symbol after that. This we have seen, these symbols we have seen. Only this Anudatta as a horizontal line below, and Swarita is vertical line.
I thought
And
you said, Udatta was the vertical, higher.
Yeah, Udatta is higher. It has no symbol. Yeah.
It has no, Udatta is, so it's same like neutral tone?
Yeah, it can, neutral, but when we can assume that when there is some more theory to it, but we can assume that when we normally speak, it is Udatta.
Okay.
Then if it is lower tone, that is Anudatta, indicated by horizontal, and there is vertical line about top is Swarita, falling tone.
Okay.
And remember that there are some few more notations and some variations in these notations also, Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita, while in the Vedic, because these are mostly found in the Vedic chanting, and some of the ancient works in grammar, especially what we know from Panini's works, that had these notations in his sutras also. Yeah? But those are lost. Those can be guessed now. We can guess based on these different other sutras what his original sutras had these notations, because some of his sutras they also depend on these notations. Notation means these Udatta, Swarita, these tones also. So because if this tone is there, this change will happen in the sutras. So like that he defines. So that we know that the Panini Sutra also contained these notations, these Udatta, Swarita, Anudatta. But the texts are, over the period of time, they are lost, and we don't have any of the Panini's works with these notations. But they can be guessed. But fortunately, we have these Vedic chantings which are still preserved over the oral tradition with these. Whether they are right or wrong, that is a different matter. But they are still there. They have to be followed while chanting those parts of Vedas. Now, I will quickly play a clip here, and I think yes, I want to share one more thing before playing. I want to share that what the person is pronouncing. There is I just got it from YouTube, and it's very difficult to find the correct pronunciation because, as I said, the tradition was broken in between, and lot of variations have crept in. So, but I found one good pronunciation, and to share that, where is the share option? And I'm not an expert in Vedas or Vedic pronunciation, so I just got this. Do you see this? There is a person, there was, I think he passed away, M.G. Prasad. You can search on YouTube, maybe you can find. Shiva Panchakshari Mantra, in this there is a Samhita Patha. There is Samhita Patha is like when they are pronounced, the way the mantras are pronounced together like this. Padapata means there is a Padacheda, the different words are broken and pronounced. That is Padapata, which is shown here below. Then, so this is, as you see here, Namaha, after that Akara, after Ma there is Akara, and then there is Visarga. And on that Akara here, there is, what is that? Swarita. And then she, we have the Anudatta, and Ya means Akara. In she also there is Ikara. Ikara is Anudatta, not Shakara is Anudatta. Ya Akara is Swarita. So this is how we have to understand it. Now let me play it.
So let us hear this one. Namah Shivaya Cha. That is Samhita. Pada. Namaha Shivaya Cha. So you can see they are not changed. So let us hear this one. Namah Shivaya Cha. That is Samhita Pada. Namaha Shivaya Cha. So you can see they are not changed.
Yeah, especially note that how that Swarita is pronounced. Yeah, Shivaya, like that.
So let us hear this one. Namah Shivaya Cha. That is Samhita Pada. Namaha Shivaya Cha. So you can see they are not changed.
One more, last time.
So let us hear this one. Namah Shivaya Cha. That is Samhita Pada. Namaha Shivaya Cha. So you can see they are not changed.
Especially Padapata is okay, is splitting it, but in the Samhita, the first line, where there is padas or the words are to be pronounced together, that is important, the Swarita there, how it is pronounced.
So let us hear this one. Namah Shivaya Cha. That is Samhita Pada. Namaha Shivaya Cha. So you can see they are not changed.
Okay?
Yeah, this you will see a lot in the Rudram chanting.
Yeah, we were there. I mean, a lot of Veda, not all of them, many Veda, the Rig Veda starts with that, like Agnimede, it also has these notations. So, yeah, those you have to get in touch with different experts in that Vedic chanting and get the proper guidance. Because again in that there are many variations, there are many different schools have, they have their own traditions, and to keep it simple, the one tradition goes that just if you don't know these swaras, just at least to preserve the Vedas, or just to read it in a simple one tone. Just forget about the swaras. If you know the swaras, use the swaras. Swaras are important, and the swaras also play a very important role because they also make the difference in the meanings also, not on this melodious thing, one thing. Because they instigate, or they, by hearing this Vedic chanting itself, some waves are produced, certain waves are produced in our mind, right? So that is one thing. But other than that, there is a change in the meaning also, which is not very obvious here, because we don't know the meanings first of all, we're just chanting. But this is one example was there, and even in the grammar works also, some of the compound words and many other words also, it is defined that this has to be in this Udatta, Swara, Anudatta, and Swarita, etc. For example, 2 minutes. For example, there was one Indra Shatro Vardhasva, there was one chant in some yajna, or I don't know what is in English called yajna, sacrifice. So in that, this Indra Shatro Vardhasva was invoked. In that Indra Shatro means what?
Enemy of Indra.
Yeah, somebody was performing this yajna to get a son who can kill Indra. So Indra Shatru means who can kill Indra, Indra's enemy. Somebody was performing this yajna to kill Indra, and in that yajna he recited this Indra Shatru Vardhasva, means, oh, Indra Shatru, enemy of the Indra, please come means please get birth, please be born. So when he was saying that, in this Indra Shatru can be split in two ways in Sanskritam. So that is the beauty of Sanskritam. You can say beauty or the speciality of Sanskritam. Indra Shatru means enemy of Indra in one way of interpreting it. Another way of interpreting it is one whose enemy is Indra. One whose enemy is Indra. Yeah? So two way of interpretation is possible here. Indra Shatru, who is Indra's enemy of Indra. Another interpretation is whose enemy is Indra. So now this change of meaning is by putting the swara, that is udatta, anudatta, surita, vis. So if it is what is defined in the Vyakaranam is, if it is antodatta, means anta means end. If at the end swara of this word has the udatta, then it becomes Indra's enemy. If it is the adi, the first swara e is udatta, then it becomes different. It is whose enemy is Indra. So while pronouncing it, the person who was saying this, he made that swara mistake. He put the starting as the udatta. Indra, like Indra, instead of Indra Shatru, like that. At the end it should have been udatta, but by mistake he put the udatta at the beginning. So that changed the meaning. That changed, instead of saying Indra's enemy, please be born, instead of that, it actually meant the person whose enemy is Indra. Let him be born. Okay? So with that, the baby was born, but it was killed by Indra, because it meant that the yajna or the sacrifice or that mantra took its effect correctly, but because of that swara change, because where the swara has to be placed, if it is, the meaning changed. Because of that, the effect also changed, and Indra came and killed that baby, instead of that baby killing that Indra. So in certain situations it is important, these swaras. So that we can stop here. If anybody has any questions, they can stay back, others can leave. But one more thing, next week there will be a class, same Shikshaa class, because there are very few, 4 more to be precise, Ayogavahas, which I could not cover them today. So probably we may be able to finish early next week, maybe half an hour. With that, we can stop here today.
Sir, before conclusion, one thing we can clarify. I don't know whether it is coming under Shikshaa, I don't know. In Sanskrit